Please patronize our sponsor, who supports the Guild and our mission to educate members and non-members to enjoy and enrich their woodworking skills and experiences. You Pick Hardwood Lumber.
So welcome everybody. All right, again, put on my membership coordinator hat and go. If you haven't been out to the website, please go out there, change up your information. Had a weird thing happen to where somebody rejoined. Well, just didn't rejoin, but renewed. Renewed with a new email address. That screwed up the database. Took about an hour trying to figure out what's happening. So if you're going to renew, use the same email address that you're using. If you put in the email and it kicks you out, whatever, just let me know and I'll get you the right one that's in the database, because that was real fun. And then we have a lot of people out there that don't have a zip code in there or a phone number. So if you can just go out there and check. Doesn't take much time, and I would say probably 80% of it's fine. So. Okay, classes coming up. Corey's working on classes for next year. He's pretty well set on a lot of classes. You got what, 8 dates left to fill in? Yeah. And if anybody wants to teach a class, go ahead and let Corey know, and he'll get you in. Presentations. We're looking for more members, and we're looking for members in the group to give a presentation on stuff. The things that we've been doing in the last year or so with our members, given that our membership in the meetings have really gone up. We've had more higher people come to the meetings when members are giving the classes of what they do. So I'd like to see that continue, because that's really been something that I've really enjoyed seeing, because we've got so many talented people, just like tonight. John's going to do this thing tonight, and his bowls are freaking amazing. So,
Brian, can I go back to classes for
Sure.
a little bit? Just want to let everybody know that I am looking for new shop monitors. And so if you have some experience or think you're ready to be a shop monitor, come see me. I've got a date scheduled on the 28th of March for a training session for new shop monitors. So if you're interested in that, yes, sir. Yes. Woodworking experience, some familiarity with the machinery, not just brand new with the machinery. So some familiarity with the machinery. You don't have to be an expert, just some familiarity. Is that good, Joe? All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Brian.
Yeah. And this is the last time I'm going to mention it. Bob Kaskagard, that guy standing up back there in a red shirt, he's got hats and aprons.
Hats and aprons. There's 4 or 5 black hats, and there's probably 5 or 6 aprons. So if you want them, come talk to me. They're in the box over here on the table.
He will be bringing them, but I'm not going to mention it.
I'll bring them every month.
Okay, until they're gone.
Or the box breaks.
Yeah. All right. Superstar Weekend is coming up. The sign-up should be open.
I have a lot new, so I apologize if you've heard me say this before, but April 11th, that's Saturday. Come at 8:30 if you're interested. We'll have coffee and donuts and stuff like that. Jeff Miller from Chicago will start talking at 9 to noon. We'll break for lunch, and then he'll do another 3 hours in the afternoon, and you'll learn probably more than you cared to know about using curved parts. You'll learn about hand tools, jigs, and maybe a surprise topic that I'm not aware of yet that I told him to maybe think of. Cost us $60. 24 have signed up. We've still got plenty of room, and everything is online to get yourself registered. If you do come, don't forget to also use the button for meals and pick your lunch, and it'll direct you to that site. So we'll look forward to seeing, hopefully, some more people come. Thank you. It is in the gateway room. So when you first come into the doors to come here, you would make a quick right and wander around just a short ways, and that's the room we would be in. There's a big bar in there, which we will not be using, but that's one of their party rooms. So anyhow, or you can sneak something in if you want to use it. But
Okay, I know we got some. I know we got visitors. I don't know about new members, but so if you got new members and our visitors, stand up and wait for a microphone to come and tell us about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ian. I've never been here before, but it's great to meet a lot of friendly people who like messing around with wood like I do. I've been getting really into like hand tool woodworking lately, and I have so much to learn, and my stuff looks terrible, but I'm amped about it. And so if you want to talk about that with me, come say hi. I'd love to meet you.
All right. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dylan. I'm about a year into woodworking. Absolutely love it. No particular interest. I do everything. I try everything. And like you, I fail at everything. But it's been a lot of fun. I joined the guild a few weeks ago.
All right. Welcome.
Hi, my name's Rick Moore. I'm the one that brought all the magazines, and I was clearing out a big cabinet, and those go all the way back to the 90s, and I didn't want to throw them away. So I stopped at St. Charles Hardwood the other day and asked them if they knew somebody, and they gave me the brochure, which I sent an email to Brian. And I've just lost, I don't want to say the interest, but I just don't have the enthusiasm like I used 2 years ago. And like I said, those are 90, and I probably got as many, and if what's ever going to be left on the table, I'm going to be throwing away. And I hate to see it. But, you know, that's the way it is when you get old. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Josh Fedai, new to woodworking. I'm an engineer by trade, software engineer, so maybe some of you don't count that. But I did do electrical in school, so hopefully that does count. I used to work in the machine shop, did like a metal and glass arts class in high school, and kind of pursued different mediums, currently doing glass. And I don't know, always been interested in wood, especially carving, and just thought this would be really neat to check out. And so far, it kind of hasn't disappointed looking around, so thanks.
All right, welcome.
Now, I don't want to hear any boos when I say this. Yeah, I'm a retired St. Louis City policeman, so, you know, that, yeah. And believe me, guys, back when I retired, I've been gone 34 years from there, and now all I do is I sit at home and yell at the television. Yeah, I was director of security for Bi-State, Metrolink, and the buses for 10 years after that. So I got a double-edged sword where if anything comes on about the department, I yell at, and anything comes on about Bi-State, I yell at, or Metrolink.
My name's Brent Ebel. I got my grandpa's old hand plane, tuned it up, built my first box, and signed up about a week ago.
All right, welcome. One thing I did want to mention, I forgot to mention this last month, is if you get your new cards this year, your new membership cards, they will look a little bit different. It will not have a logo on it with the new stuff that I'm doing. It really goofed it up. So I made it to where you'll see a blank area in there, and that's for if you're a shop monitor. I made a spot just if it's blank, it means you're not a shop monitor. If it says yes, you're a shop monitor. So that's what I changed.
Boring. We need a logo or some art on them. Come on, man.
Hey, I have it all automated. I go click, 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 and they send out. So that's why I did that. So makes it a lot faster. All right, upcoming classes. Coming up on the 28th of this month is an intro to bowl turning with green wood. That class is full. So if you want to take it, we'll have to wait till the next one. Safety class will be the first Thursday of the month in March. Coming up on the 22nd is a small table saw miter sled class, and that's full. So let's see. Then we got safety class coming up on 4/2, and the 2 safety classes right now we're not full up. So I just had to put them up there because it's neat that our classes are getting, as soon as like we've been putting the last few out there, they've been filling up really good. So, okay, in April, during our big meeting, we're not going to have, like normal, we're not going to have a show and tell, because we never do. So years ago, we did this. Oh man, it was like back when I joined. We weren't in this room, but we did it a couple times in this room. Is we had a silent auction just for members who have stuff that they want to sell in a silent auction. And so in the newsletter, if you haven't read your newsletter, this is all in the newsletter, and it kind of explains it. So I'm not going to go read the whole thing, but items must be in place on the table and ready to go at 6:40, because we will start the meeting at 6:45, and we don't want that conflicting with this, and it will end at 8:30. So, and there will be, for what you sell, there will be a percentage amount that will go to the guild. We did this, like I said, we did this years ago. I don't know why we stopped. I know a lot of members didn't remember, but I do, and I thought, it was a pretty neat thing because, everybody's got stuff in their shop that's sitting around and you don't use, and you just want to get a few bucks for it. So, community outreach. So far this year, we've collected, well, as of the end of last month, 219 toys, and 125 were delivered. So, how are we doing tonight, Bob?
150 toys going out.
Ooh.
And 208 toys coming in, thanks to Paul Hillenbrand and Linda Turner.
All right. That's nice we got that many toys going out, because it's been kind of really slow. So that's good. Oh, next up. Home Sweet Home. Now I got to say, before we even get into any of this stuff, right? This table that's up here on the front, I don't know if anybody noticed this, but this is the 100th table that Hal has made.
Yay, Hal.
That's wonderful, Hal. Great.
Thanks, that's all I have to say tonight. We appreciate Hal, we really do. He's made 90 of that style and 10 of the style that's on the screen, so that's how he got to his 100. And we have a little token of our appreciation, and when I say little, I mean a gift card to Rockler.
All right.
And a handshake. The other table up here was made by Alan Brown. It's an example of the dinette tables, the 32 by 32s we've been making. So that's I think he probably has a lead on dining tables. So thanks, Al. Okay, so our goal for the year was 150 tables. We're sitting right now at 160, and we still have another month to go, another month and a couple weeks. We can add these to the total. So we do have a lot of wood. We are trying to pick wood up from Jay Knopfsinger. I think the email he sent me was dated in early 25. So we'll get out there and get the white oak or whatever wood he has to give us. And we will finally get a work day in, and I will get that scheduled, I promise. Does anybody have any questions about the program? The newer guys, it's part of our community outreach. We work with Home Sweet Home, and these tables are all donated to people in need. So it's one of our very good, along with the toys and the other things we do, it's one of our very good programs.
You have wood outside?
I've got a little wood outside, a little bit. It's all white oak, all for small tables. Anything else, boss?
I guess that's it.
Okay, I guess that's it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Unless you want to talk about the other piece.
Okay, nominating committee?
Yeah,
Is
you can
what
do that
mean?
now. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Grady's not here, and I don't see Jeff. Okay, Jeff, Nasser, Grady, and myself are on the nominating committee, or are the nominating committee. We've had very good luck this year. For the first time, we've had people actually call us, and that's great. And we do have we feel a very qualified candidate for president. We are meeting with a new member on Monday, and we'll have to see, where he can fit. He was one of the volunteers, if he can fit. And then we have a meeting next Friday, and we feel that the gentleman next Friday has expressed interest in being a director. And I think he's a longer-term member, and he's a solid member. He's built boxes, he's built tables, he's built desks, so I think he'll make a great candidate. Now, vice president, it's one of the tougher jobs in the guild, and we need some of our more experienced members who kind of know about classes, who have contacts, who know about the meetings and can attract outside or contact outside people to come in and talk. That being said, since it's so tough, we think we're going to split those duties. We're going to have somebody in charge of the classes, arranging the classes, the members, etc. Keeping on top of that. And I think the gentleman we're talking to Monday can handle that. He's a newer member, but there's a lot of support there for the classes. The tougher part's going to be the guy that we need, or gal, that we need to arrange the monthly meeting presentations. So, it's kind of if you want to, but we're getting down to the wire here. So if you think you fit the bill, hold on, Bob, I'm coming your way.
And plus, I'm hoping that more and more members will want to do a program. It's not on.
Redo it again.
There it goes.
Holy cow. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that.
Next up, Wayne. Haven't seen Wayne here tonight. Oh, he's here. Oh, how did you sneak in without me seeing you? Well, Wayne chairs the Christmas toy program, and it's held 2 times a month. The first and third Friday, which is tomorrow, from 10 to 2. And if you saw the newsletter and all of the wonderful toys and stuff that so far they've been making, is just really great this year. And we had a visitor from the guy who's in charge of the Gateway 500 tonight, and was talking about how wonderful our tree was last year, and he's glad that we do such good work and put it in the tree. So that's another good thing for Wayne.
About the only thing I can add is we're 1,500 short of our goal this year, so come out and help us build some toys, build them at home, whatever.
All right. Thank you. Okay, Q&A time. This is the time for everybody, especially for the new people, that if anybody has any questions of what they're doing, I got a problem with this, how do I fix it, how do I do it, or hey, I learned this week that, hey, this stuff works, or anything like that. We got some over here, and then we got one up here.
Do you have classes on how to build the toys?
No, but that's something that I've been talking about for like the last year, that I want to put together a toy building. My toy that I just built is back over here. I didn't put it on the show and tell table. But we do, and we also have books in the library that shows how to do toys and things.
And there's patterns on the website.
And there's patterns on the website.
Basically, Fridays that we build toys, it's intended to be a learning experience, so you don't have to have a lot of experience Just got to have the safety class show up and do that. And we've got three ring binders full of patterns of toys that we built over the years. Some of those have instructions with them, full-size templates and that type of stuff. So yeah, if you can come by on a Friday and we'll show you around and that type of stuff. And if not, I can meet you out there some other day of the week.
All right.
Okay, I got a dust collector issue. I got a 4-inch main coming off my dust collector. I collected my planer off the bottom where the inlet is. That's separate. And the tube goes up to my main trunk, and off of my main trunk, I dropped down a 2.5-inch hose, and I have one of those magnet quick connects that I put onto my joiner planer. I can take it off there and put it onto my table saw, but it's not pulling the dust. I'm seeing. Do you think I need to switch that from a 2.5 to a 4-inch to get more suction out of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like you're starving it.
Yeah, because every time I do the table saw, I got a pile underneath. And when I do my joiner planer, it's on a table, and when I lift it up, there's a pile underneath it too.
How big is your collector?
2 horse. It should be enough because it does. Yeah, it does my bandsaw and it does my planer. It good.
Yeah.
4-inch.
4-inch. Yeah.
Okay. Huh? It's not far. It's just a drop down. It's a hose about maybe 8 feet.
Oh, okay. Just up and down is really it. It's all close to the tool.
Yeah, it's all close. I got a small area and I have to move stuff around to work. And okay. And I got another question on spoil board bits. Okay. I know there's ratings on them. One of the ratings I'm looking at is a 3-horse will accommodate a 2-inch and a 3-inch spoil board. I have a 2-inch and I have a 2 horsepower router. Okay. Am I going to be pushing my limit there with that?
Can you set the feed and speed on it?
Yeah.
That's what I do. Just slow down the feed on it.
Slow down the feed.
Yeah.
And slim cuts.
Yeah, some cut. Yeah. Besides, if it's a spoil board, you don't have to take a whole lot off anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On mine, I've had less than perfect track record on setting the Z-axis, and so fill it in with fillers.
Yeah.
And then do the spoil board thing, and then it's nice and level. It works out.
Okay.
And if people don't know what he's talking about a CNC machine.
No, this is my hand router.
Oh, your hand router.
I got a sled that I
Oh,
built.
okay.
And I got a table I got a lot of planks that I want to plane to make tables out of.
But you still take it easy on the
Yeah.
feed rate.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing it or the machine's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just ordered a new planer, a 2.5 horse one. So hopefully that'll help me out too. That I can go maybe a little bigger too.
One of the things on your dust collector, one of the things that I did when I put mine into my new shop, is on Amazon they have a I can't remember what they're called. It measures airspeed, and so a what? Yeah, that's it. That's hard for me to say. And I went to all of my machines and put it up to there to see how much I was losing, and then I made corrections. So I have no 90 degrees in mine. I limited my rubber hose to just small pieces, because the longer you go, you would not believe how much suction you lose by going through that corrugated tube, that corrugated plastic tube. Rubber hose. Yep. If it's got that metal stuff that goes around like that, man, does that cut. That really cuts down your suction power. So you want to keep those as small as possible, and run a good 4-inch PVC or something like that. Make sure you run a wire through it for static. But yeah, I did that on mine, and man, I suck. My shop sucks.
If you have a tabletop version, like you said, and when you pick it up, there's stuff underneath, chances are there's holes from where your vacuum line goes to the cutter head. There's a place where that can go away rather than going to the hose. So you may just be able to look underneath there and possibly plug it with duct tape or something. Because if it's getting underneath the table, then there's a leak there someplace. And so if your vacuum's not pulling it out, it's probably pulling air from the different holes. So if you make it, just like a vacuum hose, if you
When I was done, I'd look inside there and it'd be filled up, so I'd take a stick and poke it in there, hold that hose up there to suck it out. But the way I noticed that was, you got the little feet on the planer that raises it up about so much off the board, and I would see sawdust start to ooze out of it.
Yeah, there's a place where it's getting out. It's not going into the vacuum.
All right. Did we have a question down here in front?
So, like I said, I'm new to this. This is probably the most general, open-ended question ever, though. But how do you keep this hobby under control financially without it costing you like $500,000, down the road over a lifetime? So I'll just leave it generally like that. Though. Do you just fork it up once and buy a good tool, or do you buy a planer and then you go, okay, I'm going to buy another planer in 13 years, or just? That's my question.
That's exactly right. That's exactly how you do it. One tool at a time.
Yep.
You figure out what you're going to need that year, your needs, and you buy that good equipment.
And remember the woodworker line that says, hopefully my wife won't sell these for what I told her I paid for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably a pretty simple question. I was just taking an inventory of all the circular saw blades that I've collected over the years and realized that not too many of them are very good anymore, so I want to replace them. So the question is simple: do we have a preferred supplier for those sorts of things? Where do we buy them from for the shop? Or
We get them from Quinn Saw.
Okay, where is that?
They're up in St. Anne's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
And they'll also inspect your blades to see if they're worth keeping.
Yep.
They also have a discount.
Yes.
Yep. And you take one in and they think it's junk, they will tell you.
Hey, Bob. I brought in some saw blades to Quinn, and I was going to chuck them, but I thought I'll ask him because I hadn't paid that much for them. I said, "Are these worth sharpening?" And he said, "Sure." And they did, and boy, they cut like going through butter. So give serious thought to bringing them there and asking them if they're worth sharpening. And they're $15 for 40 teeth or less, I think is the right number. So it was. I've brought them back twice now, and so
They'll also sharpen dado blades. So if you have a dado set that is needing sharpening, they would do an excellent job doing dado
wow.
blades. Planer blades too? No, it has to be a circular blade. But they did my 8-inch dado blades.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you got to push that board through that table saw, change it. It was like in Cub Scouts when we were teaching kids how to use a knife and teaching them the most dangerous knife is a dull one. Same thing with saw blades. Any other questions? All right. Well, let's go to, if you got stuff in show and tell, come on down and get mic'd up because that's next.
Tonight I brought in a little candle holder I made out of Bradford pear. I left some of the bark on it and made a hollow form basically. And that's a shellac finish on that. This is a piece I just turned, and I was starting to practice playing around with some carving and detailed work. But this is black locust, and I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but it'll fluoresce. And this piece was a river birch that I did some epoxy to fill it in. And the bottom, I actually made a little puck out of curly maple, because I was at a wood show and they had they would come and critique work, and about 3/4 of the people they critique for how they signatured the bottom. So now I make little inserts and brand it. And that's it.
Beautiful.
Hey.
You guys probably know I've made a few cutting boards and stuff, and I have just a lot of scrap of different sizes, and a lot of times, even though you're careful, you get different thicknesses of them, and some of them are bowed one way and others. So you need a caul on there, and you can take 2 boards and stack them and get 2 clamps, and then you get 2 more boards and 2 more clamps. And I thought we can do better than that. So I made this little deal. I don't know, I probably got maybe $10 of parts in this. And I know they make commercial ones that are metal and adjustable and all that, and they're also $129 a pair. So I decided I think I can do better. I haven't used this, I just finished it today, but I theoretically I think it should work pretty well. I cut just a little bit of a camber in this, ran it over a joiner, started in the middle, ran off one end, ran off the other end. So there's about a 1/16 inch hump in the middle. You can kind of see it rocking there. That way you can put pressure on the end, but you get some pressure in the middle to it. It's going to bow, so you start out with it bowed, and then it'll bow more or less straight. And that way, anyway, so I got, and this one will make 20-inch width is way more than my planer's going to carry anyway, or my sander. So this will be plenty wide for what I need. And I made a few of these, and haven't tried it yet. But I don't really. This is still kind of theoretic. It's just the first. Haven't even sanded it really, and that's made to come apart. Probably on the next one, I will probably enclose the end where this piece doesn't get separated in the shop. But anyway, that's what I got tonight.
Wax paper is your friend.
Yeah. I thought about putting plastic laminate on there too, because glue won't stick to that. But really, all you got to do is put it on there long enough to get your other clamps, get them lined up, put the other clamps on, get them clamped down, then you can take it off. So you really only need 2 or 3 of these. You don't need some to. They don't have to stay with the clamps the whole time. So.
Hi, I'm Dan Linder, and I have a granddaughter that's having a birthday soon. So I thought I'd make her a pencil box. So it's constructed with finger joinery, and has the carving of her name was done by a good friend on a CNC machine. So that's inlaid, but it's from repurposed walnut, and it has a few nail holes in it, and I thought I'd just leave those in there and tell a story. But the finish on it is 1 coat of boiled linseed oil, then a coat of shellac, and then 4 coats of lacquer on that one. And then while I was setting up to make that one, I cut out enough pieces to make this was, if I needed more pieces for my setup, then I'd have those pieces, but I didn't need them, so I made a second one. And the pull on it is called I believe it's called a fingernail pull, so that way you don't need any hardware, just pull that out. And then the top and the bottom are pretty much identical. So, thank you. I went to Rockler and bought their, the fingernail pull, excuse me. I used a 1-inch Forstner bit on my drill press, and then you tilt the lid and roughly about 10 degrees. It's a little trial and error how you want it. I drew some, I had to set up pieces of wood, then I figured out what I needed to do, so I just drew some witness lines about 5/8 apart, and then when that diameter grew as I was going down and got to those 5/8, that was my desired depth.
Okay, my name is Mark Veckley. I got cheese slicing boards. I think I did a demonstration on my jig I made one time, which I'm kind of in the process of redoing it. Because a lot of the ones I noticed, instead of having the slot all the way completely down, they're kind of tapered. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it so this end goes down, but this end will stay up. This end will stay up a little bit after when it's not being used. This one is epoxy and walnut. If anybody works with epoxy, it'll be a nightmare because it will find the minute hole that you did not fill right, and it'll be all over the place. This one here is just a plain walnut, and I started putting the little feet on there. I made a jig for these, putting the feet on. I have a jig for drilling my holes. I'm beginning to find out the name of the game is jigs. And this is another one I made that I started making these, and my wife works at Craft Alliance. She teaches there, metals class, and they have a gift shop, and she took one in for her Christmas party one time, and she showed the lady in the gift shop, and she said, bring them up. And I sold 8 of them through Christmas in 2 weeks' time.
Wow.
And then I have an Arbortex set that I put on my angle grinders and Cutsall blades. I got tired of changing the blades out all the time, so I'd go to yard sales and buy cheap angle grinders. So now I got all my blades on angle grinders. I have one angle grinder that I use for swapping out to use other bits on. But the thing with these things, though, you got to let them set for quite a while. Then you have to go back and redo the wobble. You just take it on the belt sander and kind of lightly go over it a little bit, put it on a shelf, let it go for a while. Because once you start cutting into them, they go wacko on you. This one here is going in the thing, the auction, or the raffle tonight. Any questions? I use Tried and True as my finish on this here. Then I'll use walrus wax on them also. And it's just these are just a matter of an 1/8-inch bit, 3 1/4 inches down in there. And I use a dowel jig to center it. A lot of people make them 3/4, but I get leery about that cut, that it's getting down pretty far in there. So I've been starting to make them at least 7/8 or 1 inch thick now to keep it a little safer. You drop one of these, you may end up breaking it. Yeah.
So for those bowls, did you do those as glue-ups, or is that one solid piece?
That's one solid piece. One solid piece. I used to just grind and grind, but I found out there's another way to do it too now. You take a Forster bit and you figure out your depth and you start drilling all over the place and you clean out a lot of the excess, and it makes it a lot easier. Because when I started doing these here, I got some that are about that deep. By the time I got done, my wrists were hurting really bad from trying to grind, especially with black walnut, and if you do oak or something like that, it's really hard. But I do a lot of charcuterie boards too now and everything. Any questions?
Hi guys, how's it going? I'm Corey Dunner, most of you already know me because I'm your vice president. Also director of classes. From time to time, I've always had someone end up asking me, it's like, I'm new into beginning woodworking, I want to make something. Well, we had one of those actually come up right before I went out to Pigeon Forge. That's why I wasn't here last month. And I drew a blank. And I was like, something that is like, I'm not thinking of the right thing. But at the same time, I was supposed to be going out to a place called Workshop Tools, you probably see on Pigeon Forge. And I was looking for sanding blocks. And I was like, sanding blocks. It was like, didn't hit me until then. Sanding blocks that you end up having. These actually come from Woodsmith itself, the design. All I ended up using was marine grade style plywood. You can basically use most anything. You could use pine, was an idea, and emailed the person back with it. Well, at the same time, I needed not only 2 of them, but I need a third one. This one I got a little bit fancier because when you actually do the wooden paddleboard classes, hopefully hoping to do a presentation on that once I actually get the class done. But for actually for doing your shapes or actually curving, you can actually sand and do all that with this. And this design actually, not mine, comes from one of our Canadian woodworkers. So I know if you guys are out there listening, because Grady's told me you have, this one's to you guys. All it is marine grade plywood, a couple pieces of a couple pieces of hard maple. Turned on the lathe, and cling spore, one of the rolls coming off of the drum sanders themselves, trimmed down to make. And that is it. That is 3 sanding blocks. Easy enough to make. And probably altogether, hardware-wise, maybe about $10, $11. Most sanding blocks that are decent out on the market, you're looking 28 to 30. I just made 3 of them and just only using scrap plywood.
You just happen to have marine plywood?
I had marine plywood because the shaper stand for the course, they require you to build it. So this is actually leftover pieces of tiger ply. It's oakum. Somebody says, where'd you get oakum from? I say, I hate to say this, Menards. Because I didn't buy from one of our sponsors. But mind to tell you though, these actually will float. They do have a finish to them that is marine grade. And somebody says, well, how do you know if, I had a buddy of mine, being a smarty that he is, ends up going and asking me, he says, how do you know? He says, from the colors, how do you know what it is? I said, take a pencil right on the back side of it. I said, that's all you need.
Yeah.
But that is my
Although if you're a good woodworker, you can put your finger across the grit and say, oh, that's 80. That's 220.
That's what it is. Thank you, guys.
Hello, I'm Chuck Schrock, and this is my project, the bassinet. Backstory is I had every intention of accomplishing this build about 32 years ago. My daughter is now due with my grandson, so I made it in time for the next generation. I bought a commercial mattress, I traced around it, and built the bassinet to fit. So my tools required a lathe restored by my father. The next most sophisticated tool was just a handheld router and a lot of handwork. So hope to see its way through many grandchildren in the future. Legs turned on a lathe, yep. Spindles I bought, and all the rest is handwork. Some white oak and some red oak. Water-based urethane is the finish.
How did you joint the oval?
There's 4 joints, and there's splines that if you got underneath to see, so it's butt joint but reinforced by spline.
How'd you get 30 spindles to go in the holes at the same time?
a practice dry fit followed by a frantic, frantic glue job.
I'm the great-grandfather for that crib. I brought 2 items, a natural edge bowl. So I harvested this wood in 2004, so it should be dry. It was. It's dogwood. So it made a pretty nice looking bowl. I was surprised at the colors, the streaking that was in it. And the odd piece here is a cigar ashtray. Now my grandson in Indianapolis and his younger brother are 10 years apart. When they go out to celebrate events, this generation, you know, a cigar is their thing. It's not mine. So he asked Grandpa to make him an ashtray that would be a little different than the normal. So the ashtray is made out of a piece of cactus tree, the base, and you can guess what the copper parts are. The rest are copper pipes, and the bowl is just a small copper bowl that's been hammered to give it that kind of a finish. So the finish on here is epoxy. So that there was a bit fragile because you can see how how gnarly it is and that. So I figured, well, kind of help stick it together a bit with painted it and heated it really hot with a heat gun to kind of thin the epoxy out so it would drain off. So he hasn't seen it yet. Yeah. He asked for something a bit out of the ordinary. I think I met that goal. Thank you.
My name's John Ferreria, and we're going to do a little demo on fixing cracks in wood or coloring wood without doing epoxy. I do epoxy work, but with this you don't have to wait. It's quick, and it's pretty permanent. Anyways, I'm going to pass this bowl around, and through the middle here, let's see the camera. Through the middle here is actually coffee grinds holding that together. And I'm going to do a sample here. You just have some wood, and I do this over wax paper so you can pull it apart. Just fill the crack with coffee grinds. And there's actually 2 types of coffee grinds. I use espresso and regular coffee. You get a finer finish on the espresso. So anyhow, when you do this, you have to use the original super thin from Starbond, and the problem with that is Rockler and Woodcraft don't carry it. You got to order it, yeah. And
When we had the wood show, Starbond was always here.
would always sponsor. So I actually buy it in the 16-ounce bottles, and then it's like $56 for a 16-ounce bottle, but over $50 is free shipping. So it works out. But you got to be careful. I made the mistake too, is you got to get the original super thin. They make super fast thin. It dries so fast that it doesn't get time to soak into the coffee grinds. So we take that.
CA glue, right?
CA, yeah.
You have to store that in the refrigerator when you're not using it?
Actually, I store it in the freezer, and it has a 30-month shelf life if you keep it in the freezer.
Does it freeze?
No, no, it doesn't freeze. And I'll take some and decant it into the small, and then I'll put it back in the freezer. And yeah, I've never had any, and actually, even in these bottles here, if I leave them uncapped, they're good for a couple, 2 or 3 months. But you also get these little micro tips. And if you get these, when you take them out, I got a little jar with some acetone, and you put the tips in there and you can reuse these numerous times. But what I found out recently is the activator for Starbond. You know how most people, you put your super glue on there, hold it together, then squirt it a bunch of times? You're not supposed to do that. No. Yeah, one little squirt, because the activator has acetone in it and actually breaks down the joint. Anyhow, here we go with, and when I do this, I usually have a fan on because this stuff will smoke, and you should actually be using a respirator, but you wouldn't be able to hear me through that thing. But I always put a small fan on. Okay, so that's that. And then I take baking soda. I don't buy Activate anymore. Take baking soda and just sprinkle it on there, and that will activate whatever is liquid still on there. Still smoking, yeah. It's the backside. And I learned that trick so when you're turning it, you don't have that thing coming off at you. We'll do the other side. Didn't have enough time to set. Yeah, we actually use the Nespresso pods, and I open them up and take the used coffee out. Yeah, and anyways, that's as quick it is as that to fill them. But then, when I was filling, I wanted to add some color instead of just black or brown. I take baking soda, get you an old pan, and then you can either use alcohol inks. These are pigment for resin. You could use food coloring mixed with alcohol. And you just, this is alcohol ink here. You would actually mix the color in, and then I take it outside and burn off the alcohol. And then you come up with whatever color you want. And I'll do a few pieces in here. It's, oh, sorry. And this is actually great for keeping the bark on turnings and stuff, or any boards that you want to keep the bark on. But if you ever seen them YouTube videos where they look like they're in Southeast Asia, where they're turning with their feet, the guy will have a bottle of this, spraying it on, exact same stuff. They must just get it a lot cheaper than we do.
Probably more carcinogenic.
What time is it? Okay, so I can do, yeah, that usually holds a lot better than that. Yeah, but here we go. Let me finish these and I'll pass this around.
What's that material?
This is baking soda with the dye.
What you just mixed in there? What you just, same as
Yeah, same as that. It just, I'm not going to burn off the alcohol in here.
That looks like mica powder, isn't it?
No, this is actually baking soda with, you can put mica powders in there.
Yeah.
But if you, some mica powders, you put them on there and you put the super glue, it just sit on top. It doesn't soak in. So if you mix it with the baking soda, it will. But if you see. Anyways, so I'll kind of pass that around to give an idea, but it needs a lot more sanding and stuff still here. Are you getting a good whiff of it there?
I don't smell anything.
Oh, okay.
I can see the stain.
Yeah.
Could be that I'm used to that smell.
That's why it's quiet.
Yeah. So anyways, I'll send this around, and that's basically how I end up filling it. Now on stuff that's like this piece here that has a crack through the side here, I'll usually enlarge them a little bit. And I'll send these cutters around. These, they're called wood carving cutters. And they have a point on them. So you just put them into the edge of the crack and they're good for removing bark inclusion if you want to remove loose bark. Yeah, just so that it lets the coffee grinds and stuff get in there further. It'd be the same thing, and you kind of want to do this in layers. That'll cook off a little bit. So. So you go about filling the cracks. You do the inside like that also. And as you're turning, if the crack came up to the outside again, you just go back and refill it. But this piece was done about 3 years ago, and that was a mulberry, and you can see how it's held up pretty well. The guys at the AAW don't like it so much. They say it isn't permanent. It'll only last about 15 years. But I'm good with that. I've never seen it, really. I haven't noticed it oxidizing, no. And now, this piece I was turning, I got a catch in it, and it broke, but it's held up pretty well for as thin as it was. But there is a risk in turning it. Let's see. And this one here was actually, I did about a year ago, and the crack opened back up again. This is actually my sanding stick for sanding the inside of bowls. And I just rigged this up to hold the wax paper against there. Okay. So then it's just a matter of okay. That's the baking soda with the yellow dye, and
Does that super glue ever impact the color of the surrounding wood?
good question. On this, it has a finish on it, so if you're doing a piece of raw wood, you can hit it with some lacquer or clear finish, and it won't penetrate into the wood beside it. It'll just go basically into the crack, and that will keep it from staining. I've done shellac finishes and lacquer finishes over the top of it. Like this one here, I wouldn't put it back on the lathe. I'll just sand it and lacquer, reshoot it with lacquer. And I'm having one spot here that won't fill because it's a little bit of too wide. You can put a couple of drops of water in the baking soda mixture, and just so it clumps together, and pack it in there. Let's see. How's it looking time-wise? Well, that it? Damn, I'm going to have to finish something then. Are there any other questions while I'm doing this? So people, you understand what's going on here, right? So it just... YouTube, I found out about the coffee grinds, and then I seen where the guitar guys were using the baking soda to fix the frets on the guitars. And then but these micro tips actually help a lot in conserving the glue. Yeah.
John, how long is it before those micro tips are unusable?
If you put it back in the, actually I'll leave that, if I left that tip on there for a month, it probably wouldn't dry, but I take them off and put them in. It'll dry at the very tip where it's thin, and then you have to snip them off. But if you put it back in the acetone, I haven't had any problem with reusing one indefinitely. Yeah. And that's okay, so I'll do one more coat here, and then I'll give this a sand, and we'll pass this around. And you probably should be doing this. I brought rubber gloves. I should have rubber gloves on. But I've learned to work fast enough where I don't stick to my fingers.
You know, when they do pen kits come with all the little big plastic bags, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what they're for, don't you?
Yeah.
Put your finger in it.
Yeah, I'll give this a quick sand and
I can't work with
okay, so just so you get the idea of it, a little more work and that would have been filled in and repaired again. And in 3 or 4 years, if that crack opens up again, it gets some more filler. Are there any questions? Yes.
Any reason why you don't use sawdust?
You can, but I like this fillet because it's such a finer texture. Where the sawdust, especially when you turn, if you want to get a nice finish on the end, you got to go back and fill between if you're using rougher sawdust. That, and I like this because of adding color. Like that there, it looks like a lightning hit it along the edge of that. Oh, that one there? We got more time? Okay, then we're going to do a big piece here. I showed you that first bowl that had been 2 pieces, and that's basically what it is. This had a bark inclusion and it dried, and I snapped them apart.
Question?
To put them back together.
Hello. Have you ever used the colored CA glue to fill things?
I will take. I have, but it's expensive, and it's not really good for filling gaps, the larger gaps and stuff. But I do have some Starbond glue that.
John?
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever used colored CA glue to fill slots?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
How's that work with turning?
The only time I've used it for turning is when I'm doing like an epoxy finish and I have some divots in there that I want to fill and not actually holding the part together, just to get a smooth surface.
Okay, thanks.
So on this one here, I'm just kind of taping it in place. Damn it. It's not scissors.
together over like a yellow glue? Is that just because of the speed of it?
Actually, the CA glue will actually go into the fibers. And like I said, if you have a bark, it'll actually penetrate into the bark and hold it together. This piece was a piece of pistachio that it was a flat bowl, plate, but you can see how it's warped, and that bark inclusion hasn't moved out of there a bit. But okay, thank you. So this one here, you'll have that deep crevice, and you'll just layer the coffee grinds in there. So if we see that, so you would just continue on that until you filled up that crack. And on the side here, you would dam that off, and you could fill that with coffee grinds. And it's just a lot faster than epoxy work.
Does that tape come right off after the glue?
Yeah, and if it doesn't, you're just going to turn it anyway, so yeah. But yeah, it'll come off. What else was there? So this here is the steps how I do these small hollow forms. I'll have the block and I'll just turn it around, fill in all those cracks and gaps. This is what it'll look like when it's all the cracks have been filled and stuff. The green is just a dye on the wood. And then the finish would be basically.
John, can you produce your own color of the dyes by mixing a couple together?
Oh yeah, you can change whatever color you want. Yeah, yeah, I've done that, and you can actually add glitters, mica powder, and other stuff to make it. Yeah, it's just an unlimited variation you can do. Well, any other questions?
Does it smell like coffee when you're turning it?
It does. It does. Yeah. But it depends on how quickly after you put it in that you turn it.
Now, is that just regular coffee grounds or is that used coffee?
They used. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm cheap.
Well, that would be an easier way to do it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Dual-purpose coffee grinds.
now a hint is, I hear that if you go to Starbucks and ask for the used coffee grinds, they'll give them to you.
Oh, wow.
But I've never.
I know
I've never.
people use coffee grounds for gardens.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Well, I guess that's.
All right. Thank you, John.
Oh, I forgot to mention, when you do this, either get a metal pan with a handle, or get some kind of instrument to hold it away from you.
And don't use your wife's pot from her kitchen.
Yep, right.
Yep.
Have your own shot pots.
So I do
have a quick question.
Yeah.
On that burl?
Yeah.
If I was to fill that,
Yeah.
you just fill a little bit at a time?
Yeah, I
And then
see, like,
work your way up to it?
like this in here, we'll put some here. I'll show you what.
Speak into the microphone and talk what you're doing.
Huh?
Talk about what you're doing.
Oh, okay. Here we're just, he's wanting to turn this burl, and we're gonna get it so we have a spot where it'll be solid.
No way to put a tendon on it right now, because it's so cavernous, it's so deep.
Yeah. And if it, and you would have to come down to about here, you know, to do the tenon, yeah.
He did it out way.
Yeah, thank you.
So where would the bacon salt process come in?
It's the same exact thing. It's just if you wanted color, yeah. Yeah, if you wanted color.